day one of week one, and we're going to create like a class pledge at first as a culture building. It's just like norms, and then continue to talk about our own experience with math and our experience and our reaction to this article that I have read. So what I'm going to do today is actually give context to the academics and why we're starting at the launch part. So here we go. So y'all pretend we've done all the pieces beforehand. And all right. So our focus today is for this week is orienting ourselves to one another. And by doing this leads us to having more open and productive conversations about math, which can feel very icky and unsure at times because it usually is concrete and there is a solution and a final answer, but how we get to those things is going to look different. So in order for us to get to the math, you have to trust what the person that you're talking to, and you have to feel like you're being listened to and your opinion matters, so that we develop some critical thinking skills alongside learning math and math concepts. And it's important to build classroom culture by sharing our own thoughts and our own reflections, and connecting to one another is a way that we can do that. So I'm going to start in the launch. It's a quarter.
Just like the
first part of the cycle.
No? Like the first part of a math framework, maybe is the word.
There you go, framework. And I'm gonna start with the sleepover. What is a sleepover? So I'm pretending like.
Are we gonna be?
Yes, y'all are gonna be the students. I'm pretending to be the teacher in this launch.
Okay.
Tell me what you know.
Stay at somebody else's house overnight,
And you don't really sleep.
And you don't really sleep. That's the fun part of the sleepover, right?
right?
But like, where do you sleep when you go to a sleepover? If you were to sleep,
On the floor.
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe on the floor. What else?
In the den,
Yeah.
sleeping bags.
If somebody has a big bed, maybe the bed.
Like not the whole purpose of a sleepover is they connect to each other, right? But I want you to take a quick look at the picture on this front of this book. Where do you think they're gonna have their sleepover at? Where is their sleep? Like, where are they going to sleep?
On the bunk beds.
In the beds,
In the bunk
in the
beds,
bunk beds.
right? So I've drawn a picture of one bed. Excuse my fanciness. It's all fancy, and like this is going to become very important to this book. So I'm gonna begin to read the sleepover. And so you two are going to be partners. And just a side note, I'm gonna step out of teacher role, but I would have them pair up by already have identified partners, because sometimes that can be a little messy in the space. So we're gonna read the sleepover, and I'm gonna pause throughout the story and have you guys turn and talk to one another to just talk about how the children may have tricked Aunt Kate. Big book. Sarah was excited. Saturday was finally here, and tonight was her sleepover party. She had invited 7 friends to spend the night, and they were going to have fun playing on her new bunk beds. But the best part was that Aunt Kate was going to babysit. Aunt Kate was fun. She liked it when Sarah played tricks on her, and Sarah liked to play tricks. Bring, bring, bring. The doorbell rang. Sarah jumped down the stairs 2 at a time, yelling, 2, 4, 6, 8. She ran to the door and opened it. Her friends all came tumbling in with sleeping bags and pillows and backpacks filled with stuffed animals, pajamas and robes, slippers and toothbrushes. Now, when I went on the sleepover, we didn't carry all that stuff. We slept on the floor with a pallet, which is a bunch of blankets. And maybe brought pajamas and toothbrush, probably, but we didn't bring all that stuff to a sleepover, as I remember as a kid. I brought some scary stories to read. Her best friend Yolanda exclaimed with a big smile as they ran to Sarah's room and jumped on the bunk bed. 4 kids sat on the bottom bunk and 2 climbed up on the top bunk. Sarah and Yolanda climbed up on the top too. Aunt Kate smiled at the excited friends. What would you like? Hold on, let me go back. What would you like? Would you go back again? Because I can't keep saying that incorrectly. Would you like some popcorn? She asked. Yum! Sarah and her 7 friends all yelled in unison. Yes, please. We want popcorn. We want popcorn. 4 cups for the bottom bunk and 4 cups for the top bunk. They will keep me busy tonight. Aunt Kate thought to herself and laughed as she went to the kitchen. So I'm not gonna. So pretend that I read this page for time's sake. So hold on. I hear her coming, Sarah exclaimed with a big smile, and they all began to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 steps, they yelled in unison. The popcorn is coming! Aunt Kate chuckled as they counted each step, but when she got to the top, she almost dropped the tray. This is what she saw. I've lost a kid, Aunt Kate gasped in surprise. So with your partner, I want you to turn and talk using a restaurant voice level and ask yourself, did Aunt Kate actually lose a kid based off the picture? So we will pretend we have 5 minutes to talk about this, which probably don't need 5 minutes,
No.
probably 2. What do you guys notice from that picture? I heard, well, not what did you notice? What did y'all share? Let's go back that way. What did you share about the picture?
She didn't lose a kid.
And how-
3 on the top and 5 on the bottom.
Okay, so you're saying there's,
Carlos said that one of them just moved down. to the
Okay.
bottom.
Now she did.
I wanted to say what someone else said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is that a representation?
Mhm.
Okay. So Aunt Kate really did, you said she didn't really lose a kid, they just
No.
moved down.
She might have been looking for that kid on the top bunk,
Okay.
and then she didn't see her.
I'm looking at my own time. So Kate distributes the popcorn. And throughout the story, I would keep having modeled this numerous times to get core members. You would get kids to get some kind of connection to whether or not she actually lost a kid and make the correlation that she didn't, they just moved. And one part of the turn and talk would be having people could be able to draw how it shifted. So I want to really, I'm gonna step out of like the modeling, the launch mode, and then talk about the choices that were made. So what did this launch part do and what it didn't do? So we can just kind of share out.
It was, the kids might think it's gonna be a math lesson, but you're just reading a story.
Okay.
So it's not scary like they might think math is.
Carla, I see you thinking. What is your thought?
I think your questions
of the core members and ultimately the students are interested. Because you got some kid that wants to say, Sarah and her 7 friends, there's 8 of them. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have that kid that's trying to look
That
for
wants
the
to do the
math in
math.
it,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to do the math problem.
Mhm.
And there's, because the new,
Common Core.
the Common Core is about representation.
Right.
And it's not just 3 + 5 = 8, but can you show that? And so it seems as if your point as a teacher would be to make the representations of where the children are on the beds. And I think there's gonna be some kid, it's 3 + 5, it was 4 + 4. It's, you know what I'm saying? And just how is that represented? Like, is the bigger piece, how do you represent that versus?
And also, you didn't tell us how to solve it. Like, you didn't tell me that I needed to add. You didn't tell me that I needed to draw a picture of the kids. You didn't, like, so, like, you told me about a sleepover and you told me about the kids and you told me about the stuff, but you didn't tell me, like, how I was supposed to do it.
Well, and it wasn't even, it was did she lose a kid?
Right. And
You
so
know,
there's not
some
even
kid
any
might say,
assumption.
Yeah, there's only 3. Cool. She did lose one. Yeah.
The one thing as a teacher, I would want you all to not do is shoot down the kid
Right.
who is figuring it out just through addition. Because that is one mode of like understanding.
How would you go about that? Because I would think you got core members that are gonna think that it's about just the number sentence.
You go about it by having them draw. Like, not you asking, say, well, explain to me your thinking. Like, I used to ask my kids, convince me. What's your evidence
Right.
to support
Okay.
your thinking?
Right.
That gets them to not only just identify, yes, there's 3 and that's 5, and there's 8 folks, but I have to tell her whether or not she actually lost the child, which they're gonna say no, she didn't. But what changed?
And ultimately, the task here, like when you get to the end of the book, is like they're going to say how many different ways could they trick her.
Right.
So
Right.
like it's
Yeah.
great. Like the kid who wants to tell you 5 + 3 = 8, great, sure is, good job,
But-
because it actually has anything to do with that.
It'll be 6 + 2.
Right, and so
Yeah.
it's, I think it's fine in that moment, probably to affirm it, because you're just like, this isn't the point.
Right.
The point is like, can you come up with a system for how many different ways you're going to represent it? Like, can you? So I think, like, as a teacher, I'd probably be like, yep,
Yeah.
aren't like, because they're not wrong. That's just not the point.
Kid did have a big head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. That was the point. Yeah.
Let's move on. And so the other questions that I would ask as we're having this conversation, because I want them to like understand that it's, yes, math is embedded in here, but the point is figuring out all the combinations that could have occurred on that bunk bed that night with Aunt Kate and the popcorn and the juice and all the other stuff. And so like, how else could you have launched the lesson would be another question for them to think about. What other methods could you use to give students the context necessary to solve the problem without telling them, I need you to figure out the number of ways? Because I never said, we're going to figure out the number of ways they trick Aunt Kate. That's your goal at the end. Never at any point. And also discuss how Turn and Talk was used during the launch to get very concrete about what was going on in the book. And so that would be my wrap up piece. One thing I think will benefit them is that it kind of aligns with what you just set them up for.
True.
So they can see that ELA and math don't have
Can
to
go
be
together. Yeah.
So just because sometimes they want to put it in like, I have to teach this separately, I have to teach it separately, but you can model some of the same practices that you just
Well,
demonstrated.
I think that's kind of the whole, like, and even what I did too, is like, gonna give you something you can use in multiple settings,
Yes.
in multiple ways, and, you know, it's the method.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
the